Welcome back. As Canada turns its attention to nation-building projects, one of the sectors with the biggest potential might be right under our noses. Here's a look at the potential for agriculture by the numbers. Ag and the agri-food system are a big chunk of our economy already, at about 7% of GDP, generating just shy of $150 billion in annual revenue. 2.3 million Canadians are employed in ag, spread across primary agriculture, food and drink processors, retailers and wholesalers, food service providers, and input and service suppliers. At the end of 2024, there were 189,874 farms across the country, covering 6.2% of Canada's land mass. The average farm has doubled in size in the past 50 years. Farm receipts alone were worth $92 billion last year and grew at 5.1%. Bigger is better in farming. The largest 10% of farms generated 2/3 of all the revenue. Exports matter a lot, too. Canada exported $100 billion of food products last year, making us the 9th largest in the world. The U.S. is the top destination, and China is in second place. Chinese tariffs on canola, peas, pork, and seafood have hit hard. But our domestic market matters, too. Canadians spent $213 billion on a combination of food and beverage, tobacco, and cannabis last year. It's the 3rd largest household expenditure behind shelter and transportation. Growth in ag will come through innovation. Farm Credit Canada, a government-backed organization, is pledging $2 billion by 2030 invested in advancing the ag tech innovation space. Justine Hendricks is president and CEO of Farm Credit Canada. Justine, thanks for being with us.
Thanks for allowing me to be here.
So it's this massive sector. We know it's important. There's been a lot of talk over time about making it more world-class, increasing our exports. What do you see as the best way to support that?
Well, Amanda, as you and I have talked in the past, this sector is facing right now what we call a generational opportunity. So it's got an opportunity to solve 4 major problems: health, hunger, climate change, and be a huge driver of economic growth. And what's super important, I think, for the audience to hear is that it can actually do that all at once. And part of being able to do that, as we've been hearing lots out there these days, is how can we also enable it, whether it's the right infrastructure, irrigation, whatever it takes, both at the domestic side and into the export side, to be able to, for the sector to really drive into maximizing its productivity.
And you've got this mandate, right, for a couple of $1 billion of investment in the sector. Will that be hard to do in the sense that it may be a large number of small investments?
So we don't believe that it's going to be hard to do, and we've got evidence that's also indicating to us that as we've been putting some money out in the sector, as you know, it's important to be able to attract the private sector as well. So I can share with you that right now, for every dollar we're putting out, FCC is actually able to attract $3 from the private sector side. So it's only the beginning, but we certainly see that as a really good sign.
Of course, we are seeing a lot of the folks in this sector, especially, of course, in parts of ag. Canola comes to mind, pork, some seafood, that are still really struggling with tariffs. Is there help to be had there, or are we looking kind of beyond that at how to innovate on the other side of it and grow our exports?
So, Amanda, I'd say there's a bit of both, right? So from the help side point of view, last week, FCC launched a program in order to support those in the canola sector. And what's important with that program is we really customize on a per customer basis what's needed in order to help them weather this storm. But also, as we know, the Prime Minister's just announced that his Secretary, Cody Blois, is going to be going to China to be able to see and to attend to the issue around canola. So we're very much looking forward to that, and we're here to support.
I should ask you, we know that some parts of our agriculture sector is under threat, including our supply management systems. Are farmers worried about that there will be changes in the years ahead?
So we actually track on a bi-weekly basis ever since this past January. What's the sentiment across Canada? I tell you, Amanda, it's varied. I couldn't say that people are not worried or concerned. We're monitoring it super closely. But of course, as different announcements come along, we do see that trend line oscillate up or downwards. And again, we're keeping close contact to be able to see how we can support.
Are you optimistic about the future? I guess it's partly your job to be so.
I am, Amanda, over and above the fact that it's my job. Like I said, we've been working on quite a bit at FCC, whether it's some of the investment envelopes, we're going into some of the AI aspects of it and trying to design some new tools to bring value. And I must say, I travel quite extensively across Canada, and I would say the customers are really eager, and there is a sense of optimism, but also an awareness that we've got to navigate the next few months and perhaps years very carefully.
Justine, thanks so much for being with us.
It's my pleasure, Amanda.
Justine Hendricks is President and CEO of Farm Credit Canada. While the agriculture industry looks to innovate, a massive wave of retirements will also hit the sector, and too few farm businesses are investing in themselves. Yves Millette is CEO of Farm Business Consultants. Yves, thanks for being with us.
Thank you. Happy to be here today.
So this sector faces the same demographic shift as others, but with a slight difference. It's not as easy, you might think, to sell a farm business as it might be to sell a different business. They're very specialized. How big is the situation? How big is the problem of this kind of generational transfer that's headed our way?
Well, it's estimated that 40% of the farmers are set to retire in the next 10 years. And that this represents a multi-trillion-dollar asset transfer. So it's very interesting.
And of course, it's one of those times when people might actually get some financing to purchase and make new investments. Are farm businesses thinking the way they should about how to invest in themselves, new technology, new ways of doing things?
Well, first of all, farm businesses are actually quite entrepreneurial, and they do invest in technology. Some 75% of the farms are investing in technology of some sort. But if we were to speak to today's investment trend, very few are investing it's been 4 straight years of economic challenges from a profitability perspective. So whilst the farmers are asset rich, they're cash poor. And so their cash flow is challenged. They're putting a lot more purchasing power into just optimizing the yield of their crops and frankly, trying to repair the equipment they have. And if they can, looking for used equipment. So they're being very careful with how they invest their money.
Yeah, as entrepreneurs do. This, of course, all happening at a time when there are some very high-level issues hitting the whole sector, the whole country. But for ag, of course, we have, some farmers are dealing with specific tariffs that are still weighing on them, making them rethink which crops they're going to plant and where they're going to sell. How does that factor in when they're also trying to think about making important decisions about investing in things like AI and efficiency?
Well, I think they're perpetually balancing all of those factors. And so AI for them, by and large, the way a farmer would access AI is through their vendors, through their suppliers. And those are the people that are innovating with AI. And those in turn are being applied to things like their crop planning, their, irrigation, all of the things. And the estimates that are important to a farmer, the estimates are that AI-enabled improvements are generating somewhere between $750 million and $1.5 trillion dollars of improvement in the farming economies in Canada alone.
So good to have you for this, Yves. Really appreciate your time.
Well, you're welcome.
Yves Millette is CEO of Farm Business Consultants. Coming up, how should Canada approach China as our trade tension with the U.S. continues? That's still ahead. But first, Crown Royal recently said it was rethinking its North American footprint and will no longer bottle the Canadian whiskey in Ontario, shifting it instead to the United States. The whiskey was introduced back in 1939 to commemorate the royal tour of King George VI. The decision to move production south prompted a strong reaction from Ontario's Premier Doug Ford, who theatrically dumped a bottle of the booze in a show of outrage. We're not sure what that accomplishes, but it was a royal tantrum. We're back after this.